So here's an example solve with a scramble on screen. And I did find that when I first started learning, I had trouble with certain concepts and memorizing certain things. So of course, I've already taught everything, but if you would like to see an example solve, then here it is. So the first thing I do is memorize my corners. So I'll start by looking at the buffer location for the corner, and this is already solved, so I'll have to start a new cycle right away. I'm going to go with this one. So this is in position V right now, because if you went through the alphabet, A, B, C, D, and so on, this one is U, V. All right, so this is V. Then next I'm going to go here, which is D. So VD, video. So I could, maybe I'm watching a video, and now I've started a scene in my head for how to memorize what is going on here, what my corner cycle is. Then from here, I'm going to go over, it needs to go over here, the red sticker needs to go over here, which is in position N. Then that needs to go here, which is in position W. So NW could be now, but I don't really like that. First thing I actually thought of was northwest. And I know in the northwest there are mountains, so I'm just imagining myself looking at a video of mountains in the northwest. Continuing, this needs to go over to here, which is L. And that needs to go over here, which and the spot is H. So LH, left hand, that's the first thing I thought of. And so I watched a video of mountains. Maybe I'm holding my phone in my left hand when I'm watching that. All right, so I just have to remember that my left hand holding it is somewhat significant. Then moving on, this one needs to go over to here, and that is K. By the way, this is my buffer, not my buffer, this is the spot I chose at the beginning of my cycle, so that ends the cycle, and I need to pick another piece. So I have K here, then the last thing I have left to do is flip this piece. It's already in the right spot, so I will need to choose, for example, go here, which is M, and then to start the new cycle, and then this is the white sticker, so it goes over here afterwards, which is C. So I have KMC here. I don't really like KM. I don't have anything for that, so I'm just going to go with KMC, which is kick my cat. I don't have a cat, but it's kind of mean, which makes it easier to remember. I would never kick a cat, but it's just when something is funny or if it's mean or if it's anything like that, it tends to be easier to memorize. So I've finished memorizing my corners is video, which is VD, and then northwest, NW, left hand, LH, and then kick my cat, KMC. So once I finished memorization for corners, you'll realize that I had an odd number of corners. So whenever that happens, it means I will have parity during the solve. So once I solve the edges, I will need to do the parity algorithm and then continue on to corners. All right, so now I'm going to memorize for edges. Now I use a slightly different method to memorize for edges because it is faster, but it's harder to keep it in for as long in your short-term memory. So what I do is I'll have a sequence of letters just like in corners, but then instead of using pairs of them to make images, instead I will just try to pronounce all of them in a row as if it was a big word. Sometimes it's hard to pronounce, but the point of it is that it's faster to memorize. You can't keep it in your head for as long as you can images. However, you don't need to keep it for that long, so that's why I do it. And for the sake of this video, I would like to show multiple different ways to memorize. So here we go with the edges. So I start with my buffer location, of course, and this one needs to go, the white orange needs to go over to here. Specifically, the white sticker needs to go over here. So that's position D. And then this needs to go over to here, which is position Q. And so right now I have DQ. It's kind of hard to pronounce, but I'm going to continue. And that goes to here. That's X. DQX. That's actually really hard to pronounce. Well, this happens sometimes, but I know DQ is Dairy Queen. So part of the pronunciation doesn't have to be however I pronounce DQ. It could just be Dairy Queen. So right now I have Dairy Queen and then X, and this one goes over to the buffer position. So I will ignore saying B because I'm not coming back here. I will move into my next cycle. So for my next cycle, this one's already solved. I was going to pick this one, so I'm just going to pick this one over here. So this is in position R. So right now I have Dairy Queen, XR, then continuing over to here. And this is position V. Then this one goes over here to I. So I have XR, VI, so XRV, and this one goes here, J, This one goes over to here, U. So XRVIJUH, that's easy to pronounce. And this one goes over to here, which is the beginning of my cycle. And that's position H. So XRVIJUH, H. All right, now, so if you kept track, I actually didn't go through all the edges yet. There's still one more, which happens to be this one, which is the toughest to find, but you have to make sure you look for these. This is an edge in the right spot, but flipped wrong. So I need to make sure that I go to here and then go to here. Swap with here, then swap with here. So right now I have Dairy Queen, XRVIJUH, H, and then after H can be W, and then S. So I have Dairy Queen, XRVIJUHWS, HWS. So I have finished memorization. So now what I will do is execute the solve for the edges and then execute the solve for the corners. So for the edges, first I go swap with D, which requires no setup moves. And then Q, which is back here. And I can set it up like this. And then X, R back here, and V, I. So I make sure I don't do this because that disrupts this corner over here, and I need this corner to be in the correct spot. All these three pieces must be in the right spot. So instead for I will do this and undo. And then, so I did Dairy Queen, XR, V, and then next I have J. This can go like that. Then U, so here. Then I have HWS, HWS, so H, W, and then lastly S. So I could do this, and that is it for my edges. However, if you looked at the original Scramble, the corners are now not in the same places as where I had memorized them because of Parity. So now I have to do the Parity algorithm. And now I can continue on with corners. And you'll notice that these two edges are already swapped, but that's okay. So now going on to corners, first thing I remember is video. So V, it's here. No need for a setup move. And then D, so D is over here. I can do F2 to set it up. F2 to undo. Then I have northwest, so N, that is here, and I can do this. So just make sure I don't disrupt these three pieces over here. So next part of northwest is W, and that's like that. And then I have left hand, so L is here. I can do F2, R prime, and then do that. R, F2, then H, so this one here. And then lastly, kick my cat. So K here, like that, and then the algorithm. M, which is here. And then C, which is here. So I can do F2, D, D prime, F2, and that's the solve.